It's very entertaining.
I don't know why Jared keeps his hat down so low.
He doesn't want people seeing that he's here.
No, but they can hear him.
Yes.
Giggles. All right, welcome to another episode of Mountaineer Kingdom Dude Talk. Real men, manly talk. We have a little bit of a...
You want me to introduce it?
Different episode today. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, last week we... I've been wanting to, for a while now, kind of show like how this all came about and where the camaraderie came from. And if you go back and watch last week's podcast, you can see a lot of our pictures and our videos of several of the trips that we've taken over the years now. Several of the videos are pretty funny. My favorite one of all of that, and we're going to get to it here shortly, Spruce Knob, negative 30 degrees. Mm-hmm. You see this wonderful pan, and then you see Andy's face. And then we keep following Andy, and then Andy's falling on the ground.
I forgot about that one.
I love that one.
That was so cool.
So we'll roll right into it. We're going to watch it, and we'll be able to see it, the audience as well. But these are from our adventures, and we're just going to go through and kind of talk about and dive into some of the cool stuff that we've got to do.
Those are our shadows.
Nice cover. How this started was a life group. Who asked was it you or Jared was the... Andy started the backpacking thing.
Yeah, I made a PowerPoint slideshow thing. And you guys were like,
well,
this is
actually,
legit.
We'll pause it real quick. So it started in life group. You're correct. But Andy had just moved back he moved back. Mm-hmm. He's back now to West.
Well,
not
so
back,
he's back.
Not back necessarily, but moved to West Virginia after military and whatnot. And so he's in our life group full time. And I think we'd already gone on a trip without him before that. So this was even months before your time coming in.
Oh, yeah,
and then when you came in, we asked you, do you go backpacking?
It's because I'm cool.
Yeah, we did that loop. Because I got that really cool video that's not on here where it looked like a video game. Like the little NPCs like...
Yeah, so...
I almost put that one on there, but...
People wouldn't understand the funny part
of it.
It didn't, no. It doesn't look appropriate.
Yeah. Huh?
No, we got to see it.
There's just
Settlers of Catan,
there was just a couple motions. It was like, ooh, I probably shouldn't put that on there. So it didn't make the cut.
Well, the gist of it is, and we talked about it before, the camaraderie of this thing, men don't necessarily just say, I want to go make friends. We want friends, but we don't say, will you be my friend?
We're terrible at it.
Sometimes you got to go and you join a group, you join a life group, whatever, put yourself out there and then do something. I've never been hiking before, but this was year of the COVID.
The vid.
So baseball was not happening, and I fell in love with it. You know, we need to get back in the woods here soon.
Will you also, before we go out and hike, there's this little speech you always do. It's the same one. Do you know?
It's been a long time.
The caveat.
The caveat is, hey, we're out here. Right. We love Jesus. Go ahead.
Just basically, you know, we're real men, but we love Jesus. Let's reflect Jesus, but still have a good time and be men, kind of thing. You know,
yeah.
Be yourself, because God created us with certain personalities, and He uses that. So just be men, but be a man of God.
Yep.
And then it goes off the rails.
And then my first question for you is, you can hit play. Was your sickness already starting here, or
no?
So this was just back issues, because it seemed like later on in the trip it was hurting.
You got to be the pause guy.
I used to race motocross at a younger point in my life.
Right. Yeah,
and I've done a lot of dumb stuff. So my L4 and L5 back wherever your sciaticas come out, both of those discs are gone in my back. So it's just like bone on bone, and if I do too much, it's like, oh man, it's like terrible shooting pains down my legs.
Maybe it's your faith.
Dude.
So that's a joke. You'll see that on
next week's episode,
the following podcast.
But anyways, at that point, yeah, that was about the only thing I had issues with. I'd get a lot of...
And you were always in pain. And, you know, we checked on him from the beginning because he was always like, oh, my gosh. But he fought through it. He kept pace. He was with us the whole time, the time. And this right here, this video, there was a cool little rock. Would you...
Dude,
push pause.
I don't know how to do this stupid thing, man.
It looked like a commode.
Yeah, there was a hole in a rock. It looked like a commode.
It looks like a commode. So what am I doing? I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm pooping.
Took a squat on it. And shortly after, we found this really cool rock that it looks higher than it is. It wasn't that high.
It was cool.
No, it does. It looks like we're like mountain men on that rock.
And that day, we're dressed as if it was going to be 40 degrees because that's what the weather said 2 days before we left.
Got hot.
But
It
then
was
that's
hot.
75 degrees that day. You weren't on this trip.
I wasn't.
That's when we were looking for the plane
was
to
flying
go.
a plane.
Yeah, you were flying a plane.
Are you gonna hit play?
Yeah. Could you please? So there's Nick. He climbed that mountain, conquered it.
With a backpack on. I should have took that
Now
off.
stop that.
Ooh, stop
Now
that.
that's-
Oh, yeah.
That's on top of Dolly Sods, looking over all of it.
Rock Ridge.
I mean, that's spectacular.
That
can't
honestly,
wait to get back
that's
up
my,
there.
and this is going to sound terrible. Pre-COVID, that was my favorite go-to backpacking hiking place.
Even with all the liberals that we met.
Well, liberals didn't start coming until
This
COVID.
is pre-COVID. Up at Bear Rocks, there might have been, you remember, like 4 or 5 cars. I mean, that was busy
Dude, the
for a
first
weekend at Dolly.
First time I went up there 20 years ago, you didn't see a soul.
Yeah.
And now you can't go up there without traffic being backed up almost to the gate. Yeah. It's stupid.
It's
And
crazy.
To get political for a moment, the reason they started coming is because they came from lockdown cities with all kinds of rules, but they said to themselves, I want to get away for the weekend. I'm going to go somewhere where there's freedom. West Virginia.
Yeah.
And
They probably smelled all the conservatism. Like, I'm going to go make them mad.
Walking through the woods with masks on. Come on.
When I think
It's still, that
you
was
did
such a joke.
some hiking when you were in the Navy, when you went on shore leave.
When I was a whole person less than I am today. Yeah.
So you wasn't kidding about helping him carry his oxygen tank.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out someday.
We won't. Nope.
No, we did. I was in Guam for 3 months, and one of my last deployments out. And Guam was a beautiful island out there. It has a ton of nature stuff in there. And so the guys that were part of my group that deployed out there, they were all about backpacking and hiking and doing stuff like that. So they got some guide when we got there on the island and found all these cool little spots. So like there was one time we took a bunch of glow sticks from the boat, stole them from the safety locker, and we went and we took this trail through the jungle, and it took us to this little hole in the ground, and we descended down into this cave and just broke glow sticks as we were going down through, and it opened up into this big underground, like crystal clear lake, and we all just had glow sticks and we're swimming in this underground lake.
Very cool.
See, why
Cool
can't
stuff.
he plan a trip?
Did you call them glow sticks in the Navy? Or did you call them chem lights?
Chem lights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you were civilianizing it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
good. I
Wow.
was going to make fun of you guys.
Way
for
to
that.
drop the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
No, he was doing it. It was for your benefit.
No, I would have knew what it was. After I looked it up.
I think we probably need to edit out to where you got the glow sticks so
Yeah.
that you don't have any repercussions.
Yeah,
from the
I don't.
FBI.
I think it's going to be okay. I'm
You can
not.
go ahead.
I'm not too worried about you and your glow
Glow
sticks.
No, I was curious about that.
Glow,
Chem light
little
batteries.
glowworm, glimmer, glimmer.
Yeah, you can hit play.
You suck.
It's playing, bro.
Sorry.
It's
I
going.
was hoping you told him to pause it as soon as I
All right, pause right there.
Huh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Push
you
play.
could touch the middle of the screen. Ooh.
Now, the red in the previous picture was that blueberry bushes?
Yes, those
Yeah.
are blueberries. Mm-hmm. So at that time of year, that was September, right?
Yeah.
Middle September.
It's supposed to be cold.
It was supposed to be colder
This is
that weekend.
excellent.
Oh,
With
this-
the blueberries
this-
up there, man.
Oh, yeah.
When they're fire red, it is
is
something
so
to see.
cool.
Yeah.
There was one of the walks that every time you turned around, it was, I want to build a house here. No, I want to
Yeah,
build it
I
here.
want to build a house here.
Pause.
And click.
Well, not pause now, but I was going to say this is Jared trying to be.
Super cool and documentary.
Yeah, like there's
I
a lot
thought it
of
was
people
cool,
that do
Jared.
these hiking trips,
Yeah.
and they go out and they put a camera way off in the distance, and we walk past and stuff. A big old gust of wind pops through. So we walk by.
I still wish we would have saw some bear.
I know. We haven't seen any wildlife. We see some bear scat, but
Heard some coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
Saw some liberals. And I won't go too far.
Never mind.
yeah. Let's move on.
Here comes Hobbles.
And this is also where you dropped your gun in the wet. That was Dobbins grade,
Yeah.
super sloppy.
Dropped it 6 times, raw at my
That's
face.
where I would have been my house on that river. Right now, right there. I'd probably build it right there.
I like the place where the tree's right on the top of the ridgeline on that northernmost trail.
Yeah.
Is
Love
this,
that view where you can look down the entire valley. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, this
that
is still
beard is
Dobbins grade
magnificent.
right here.
Thought Dobbins Grade was sloppy.
It was.
This was towards
parts
it, yeah.
of it. See, this is the end of the sloppy.
This is my favorite video. Josh is like so methodical going across this log, and then also
3 foot log.
the
with
guy
a
who can't
1-inch
feel
drop.
his legs just like.
Well, it's
You've got
mud
2 extra
and
sticks.
Yeah.
Why do you think I have them?
Well,
It was a 3-inch drop, and he walked across like he was going to cross the Empire State
But there's so much mud. Do not be laughing.
Don't cross him. He'll hate you for 8
did you
months.
lose a boot in the mud too?
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those pre-hiking boots. You had some cowboy boots on that trip.
Well, I had Rockies
Surprised
on,
you
and
survived.
they go up almost to the top of my shin, and I had a not appropriate wear.
Probably had some blisters. I'm surprised your foot survived.
I'm surprised I didn't get shot in the face.
There wasn't one in the chamber. I have a new gun holster after that trip, by the way, audience.
Much more safe now.
Much more safe.
He only points it at liberals.
And, again, I know everybody watching and paying attention to this, pictures do no justice
for
to
this
anything.
place.
Because you think you can capture it, but God's creation of our eyes are amazing.
Yes.
What we can take in and the beauty that we see, not to mention everything around us. This is just a little snippet of what you see, but look how awesome that is.
Some of my favorite moments on these trips where we're so deep into the woods that, and this is going to sound cliche, that you can hear silence. It's almost like it's deafening, and there's a pressure and a weight to it. All you had to do was push pause. They're not going to be able to see us watching this, are they?
Oh, yeah, you're too far now. Go back.
That's
there.
fine.
Right there.
I'm
right
getting there.
All right, hit play.
He said,
Josh is just talking about the sound of silence. It is kind of deafening.
Yeah.
Like when you really
Yeah.
just pause and listen. And even there's times where you actually hear no birds. Nighttime is awesome for us up there. What was the trip? High Falls. The first night we stayed before we walked up High Falls, we stayed in a little small campground.
mm-hmm.
To look up in the sky, you think you see stars in Fairmont. But man, do you see stars
Middle
out
of
there?
up in those mountains.
No
man.
other lights around. When you're in those mountains, you see the Milky Way. I mean, it's amazing.
Something I want to say about the pictures we've seen. This area 100 years ago was desolate, like blown up. It used to be an impact zone, and then industry came through and clear cut the entire mountain range that is now the Mon National Forest. So everything we're seeing is a new growth forest over the last 100 years, and it's nothing of what it used to look like. I think Dolly Sods was an actual impact zone for the U.S. Army at some
missile
point.
testing.
And you'll see unexploded ordnance signs all over the place saying, hey, if you see this, mark it, don't play with it because it might go boom.
Yeah, there are signs sporadically all over, like around.
Thanks for
What
that.
was that?
He doesn't know.
Is that a bomb? No.
It was the
wonder
dude
people-
from
What's the
Jeff Dunham.
say, what's the military term?
Ahmed the Dead
For what?
Terrorist.
That sound.
Pink Mist?
There you go.
Push play.
Pause.
Dude, you know I'm not going to get this right. Oh, there it is.
Oh, see like that?
All right.
I love those one-sided pine trees.
That's called flagging, right?
Yep.
Wind flag or something like that. So the wind is blowing constantly that way.
And that poor tree just like
branches cannot grow.
I can't grow that way.
Yeah.
Do we have close-up pictures of...
I don't know if you would have watched the video that I spent many hours making.
I said it was a good idea. I watched it long enough to get us a couple of views, okay? Have you seen...
Oh,
Pause this. Yeah, this
was the beginning of the trip.
Yeah.
So this is the trip that I planned.
It was the best trip. For someone who's
ended
a noob.
out being one of my favorite trips.
Magnificent desolation.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of arranging the poses here?
I think we just kind of wing it.
That'd probably be Jared.
Wing it.
Depends on how frisky we're feeling.
All right, guys, knees out.
Come on, girls.
That is pretty good, though.
This was, it started to rain as soon as we got to the campsite. We hiked in at night.
Right.
It was
Which
dark.
there should be a video here soon that
Yeah.
Shun?
Shun.
It'll be here soon.
I can't talk.
I wish you would have got with me before you put these, because I have a great video of it actually
See,
pouring down the rain.
if you'd ask for people to help, people would help.
Well,
I'm pretty sure we had
he
five.
doesn't accept help, does he?
At the beginning of all this,
It's a
I
pride
remember
issue.
throwing a thing out there like, "Hey, everybody, I need all these pictures," and I made a little database of it. So
No, and then somebody sent a meme or a video, and we went down that track.
I don't remember that. But anyway, I planned this trip, and it was like a 17-mile loop is what we tried to get, and we wanted to go in like 3 miles on a
Day
Thursday
one.
night, and we knew we were going to be hiking in the dark, so we made sure we had our headlamps on, all that stuff. But when we got there, clouds started rolling in. Actually, on our way there, it was torrential downpour. Then it stopped. Torrential downpour. Then it stopped. But then the clear skies. We start walking in. Here comes clouds again.
like at Elkins at one point, I remember all of us going, "Guys, why don't we just go get a hotel? And
Yeah.
we'll just tell everybody we went backpacking."
right.
I think Jared was all about that.
It was looking bad.
This was the weekend where there were
At Bernie's.
localized floods here in our.
Well, it was and we didn't know this at the time until we got back. It was actually the remnants of a pretty bad hurricane that went up
Right.
the Carolinas.
Yep.
So we were out in
I knew
Dolly
that. I knew that going into it. Told you
I
guys
do
it's gonna be
remember
soggy.
seeing people's faces. We go deeper into the woods, and they're trying to get out.
Oh yeah,
They're
they're
like,
people
"These
running out.
idiots."
We're walking in. So we keep on trucking. And the clouds are rolling in. It's getting darker than it should be at the time that we're in the woods.
Hit play, because there should be a video.
Yeah, there should be a video.
Yeah.
See? So now at this point, we're like, we need to find a spot.
I mean, it's fairly dark at this point.
So on this trail there are there's high impact camping areas, and I knew of one that was right along some
Right.
water, so knew where we were going, but it's just a matter of getting there.
And
At
as soon as
dusk.
we got there,
And safely.
it started pouring down the rain, right? We had to set up our tents in the pouring rain.
Quickly.
And we had a little bit of hangout time that evening, but not much because we were underneath the tarp. And so we hit the sack early, woke up the next morning to what? More rain.
More rain.
For about 2 hours, it poured down the rain. We're sitting under the canopy.
Yeah.
And
we're
who's
not-
ready? Who was ready to go home?
Me and Jared would
Oh,
look at
yes,
each other
yes,
and
yes.
said, "Dude, I'm
No,
cool."
I was the first. We set up, and I said, "Let's go."
You waited for someone to say, yeah, let's go.
Well, I'm the noob
So me and Jared were perfectly fine hanging around a fire and eating food.
because
3
you've done
miles
this
in.
before.
Yeah, because we were like, "All right, man."
I
And
know
then,
what this is all about.
Yep. And then you two were like, "Oh boy, let's go!" Ha ha.
When do we turn into Mickey Mouse?
I don't know.
So this shot right here, this is actually after, I think maybe almost 3 hours of morning rain. We were underneath the tent. We had some breakfast. It was pouring down the rain, big drops. And we were having the conversation. Well, maybe we should just call it a day. Or maybe if it stops raining, maybe we should just stay here and just
Have fun, hang
hike
out.
out around, or whatever around this area. But then the rain stopped.
The sun came out.
Sun came out for about 15, 20 minutes. I was like, guys, I jumped up. I was
This
like,
is our
It
opportunity.
was your fault.
we already took the days off. We're here. We're
Let's-
packed. We're
let's-
prepared.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
And I went,
Jared was actually like this.
he was like,
Do that right into the center camera.
No, he didn't cry, but he was definitely like, I'm completely content right here.
I was
And
totally
Eddie was
with
like,
him.
yeah, I think I'd stay. I was like, come on, who's coming with me? I raised my hand. I said, Josh, coming?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. And then all fell in line. And we took off hiking. And everything was great. It was a beautiful day.
Like for
20 minutes. Push play.
It was, oh my.
Drip, drop, little. There's.
I think this is him saying, what
I
are we doing, man?
see this picture, and I just see Ava.
Oh, dude, yeah. Out of my 4 kids, she is the one who probably is going to end up more like me.
One of these pictures coming up here. All right, push pause right here. All right, so this is between a rainstorm, because you see we don't have our tarps on, but at one point we had our tarps over our heads, or not our tarps, parkas, over the bags, torrential downpour. Actually, we stopped to eat lunch. Remember we stopped on one spot, lots of
And
pine
I
trees,
looked up and I'm like, it's going to hit us again, boys.
and then a big clap of thunder hit, and we're like,
we were on a hilltop.
tarps
too.
on.
Yeah, like we were on like one of these. Like we were
Yeah,
here
yeah.
eating lunch, and it was like, ooh, we need to get out of here.
Dodge. So this right here, this is starting a descent down this big hill, and these big jagged rocks, and if you can tell in the video, if you're looking at it, that's water that should not be there. That turned
No.
into a creek that was about 5 or 6 inches deep.
Oh, yeah.
Here very shortly.
It was awesome.
Again, and I tell this story, and Haley thought, "Oh, he's just exaggerating again."
Exaggerating.
That's not the creek.
We're going uphill, and water is going uphill with us. And
it
then
made-
out of nowhere, it changes direction, and we're still going
dude.
in the same path. Like it was insane.
def-
We ran out of pictures at
Ran
that
out a
point in
picture of
time.
that trip. But to since we're out of pictures, we'll just say that trip was the best trip ever.
Ever.
You know, when you're going through it, it's kind of miserable, but at the same time, you're like, oh man, we're getting through this. So really, this one spot, we came to a fork in the road where the trip was going to be an extra 4 miles, or we looked on the map. There's a really good map at this intersection. We figured out a way to bypass it and cut straight towards the loop path we were on. Little did we know that it was nothing but
swamp
rhododendron. No, that trail. Remember, it was all thick rhododendrons.
But it was thick rhododendron, swampy path.
Yeah.
Because of all the rain.
And it was not upkept. It was a path, but
it wasn't a heavily traveled. No,
we probably made more of a path than we were actually on.
But we cut a lot of time off that trip by getting there. And then after we got to our last campsite, it turned out great. And that was the night that Nick said, Newsom snores too loud, so I'm going to go put myself by the waterfall. He was about 200 feet away from all the other tents that night.
It was.
I'm just grateful it was warm. It was probably 70 degrees that day, and had it been 50 like it was, I think, forecasted for or something, or maybe it wasn't forecasted.
It was colder than 70 during the rain, and you actually said, guys, 2 more degrees, we're dying of hypothermia.
That was where we was at that split. And that's why we decided.
Oh, right.
It was after he said that, we all looked at each other like, "Yeah, let's cut this a little shorter."
I really don't want to die.
that whole morale piece right there, like that was a critical turning point. We were probably 6-8 hours into it at that point in time, and the fatigue was setting in. The water was there. You were really hurting, man. Like I just remember the look on your face. You were dragging that one leg behind you. And
this is before you got sick.
And this is before. That was just his motorcycle accidents. So Eric, we're talking about this real quick, but this is a long day. A lot of rain.
I mean, it was
a lot of hard hiking. It wasn't just a little trail that you walk on. It was tough.
Rocks.
It was tough.
Oh, you'll see. You'll see.
You would have lost me shortly out of the parking lot.
It was a good time.
Again,
not so easy, is it?
Very difficult trip, and even in the middle. Come on, Andy.
Oh, this is John's camp.
I love John's camp.
I've not been to this.
No,
this one's awesome.
So this is post Nick getting sick.
Is this where you guys snuggle?
This is where you first
start to get
You're
sick.
Just carrying a little bit of oxygen.
So we're having to pull back our
little Febreze bottle,
16, 17 mile jobbies, and we're like, oh, let's find a mile jobby.
It was 3/4 mile, and it felt like 10.
Oh,
well, we walked in at dark.
Yeah,
and that was tough.
And
dark.
And me carried that freaking cooler, man,
and water jug.
Oh,
no,
the water jug
was a water jug, and then we came back to the
5-gallon water jug because we didn't know there
but
was a spring up there.
That was the best we've ever ate.
Oh yeah,
in one, we had a cooler with cube steak and eggs.
It was awesome.
Yeah, so we didn't know the extent of Nick's ailment at the time. We knew he was struggling, and so we said, well, we still want to go out, and he said, well, I can do 3/4 mile. And so Jared actually knew this place, found it, and it was on a normal day, daylight probably would have been an easy hike, but we came in there, it was already pitch black. We're getting our bags on, pitch black, and we knew what we were going to do. We were going to eat well, so we packed a big cooler, a 5-gallon water jug, regular camping chairs, picnic chairs, I should say, not camping chairs, and multiple tarps because we knew that there was rain in forecast. And you'll see shortly, we didn't realize what else is coming in forecast. We knew it was going to be cold, but
it was not rain.
Well,
I love your PowerPoint.
Yeah, the effects.
Do you guys remember the weird sound?
The owl?
Yeah,
we thought was a killer witch or something.
Is this right after? Oh, here it is.
Oh, this was on the way out.
This is on the way out.
Yeah, here's the
I just want to point out that when we came in with the cooler, I said, let's get a big stick. And Andy said, we're not getting a stick to carry that thing. And it was the best idea I ever had.
It really was.
What did you say there?
I'm not carrying anything because I have a condition.
Oh, what's one of our shorts? Yeah.
Yep.
Whoa. Look at the snowflake. I like it.
Have you guys not seen this?
Yeah.
No, I saw it.
We all watched it.
Lies.
So we were talking about the sound of silence out here, and hiking in the snow is probably one of the quietest that you'll hear anywhere. Every time it snows, like even at home, if it's at night, as soon as there's a blanket of snow on the ground, I'm going for a walk, no matter how cold it is.
It reminds me of the video of these people running in the city. And they're like, oh, we run in the snow because it's less impact on my joints and knees. And they're being interviewed by a news reporter.
Great.
And 3 seconds after they take
she
off
bites
running,
it.
she bites it hard.
Hard.
Oh, I hurt my back. Are you okay? I hurt my back.
That's Andy.
In all these videos, Andy looks different in every one of them. He's changed his appearance so many times in these trips.
Keep the beard.
And there he's struggling to carry a stick.
Whose idea was the stick again?
Look at my face.
Did I have
Gosh,
long
this
hair
guy.
at that
Can
point
I
in
get someone
time?
else to carry this with me?
I might grow my hair long again. I don't know.
I like how Jared's just holding the camera and not helping.
Oh, this
place was beautiful.
All right, this is
We
November.
need to
This
go back to
past
this
November.
one.
Pause that one.
pausing it.
So now this trip, we knew it was going to be cold.
We're
And
prepared.
this is Nick's really not doing well walking wise at this moment. And Jared says, let's go down to the bottom of Spruce Knob Camp, and I'll take my pull behind trailer. And so
So much.
we get on the road, and I take my truck, and Jared's taking his truck with the
I know where
trailer.
this is going.
And so that here comes the snow, and it's covering the road. And Jared's like, I don't know if I should drive my truck down this road. So we switch trucks. I'm driving, and Jared's like, will you drive my truck? I
Please
said,
describe the road.
Huh?
Describe the road.
Oh, the road
It's not a
is
road.
More upkept than this
It's maybe a
establishment.
1.5 lane, super windy. I'm talking about
Switchback
turns. Inch of snow on it now, compacted snow, because it's like a wet coming down. It's sticking like right now snow. And Jared's like, I don't know if I should drive this, but we're adventurers. We said, we're going on. He said, will you drive my truck? You're a truck driver. I was like, you accept all liability? He said, yep. I said, yep, I'm in. So we drive, and most of the uphill part is fine. Actually, let me back up. Jared was still driving around the switchback turns before we started going down the mountain.
And he did good for the most part.
He did good.
And so
there was a couple spots where Nick and I were
Lady-
like, he better slow down, because he came around this turn.
And that camper
on
was
the low
almost
end.
like
Yes.
drifting.
I was
We're
like,
on
"You
a
just
road
take out
like
wider. Take
this
out
and-
wider. Oh my gosh, it looked bad. But anyway, going down this hill to the campground, we puckered up a little bit. It didn't slip brake traction at all, but it was even more narrow. Drop off
Straight
on the
drop.
left. So we get down there, pitch black again. And
Freezing
now I'm trying to
cold.
back his trailer up into a spot. We got flashlights on both sides doing this.
And again,
But,
when we say pitch black, you're not talking like town black. It's
No.
dark.
We were
Right.
in a holler
I'll holler.
in the
Nowhere.
bottom of it's basically a temperate rainforest. And you've got
Yeah, that's
mountain
true.
laurel floating all around all over the place, a rhododendron, and you're in a pit with a stream running around you.
So it's wintertime. You think maybe some of the moon will shine through the trees. No, the laurel was thick and it was covered.
and we were in the shadow of the mountain, so
Uh-huh.
you were in pitch black. I mean, it's
The
some
two
dark
things
stuff.
that stick out the most on that is you almost breaking Jared's window
did I?
when he smacked the window.
Oh, that's right. It scared the
Oh,
crap out of you
yeah.
guys when I went to
Yeah.
go pee.
Jared
He was a
he
happy
hated
kid.
you for that one. He was ready to disown your friendship for that one.
But he was nice about it. And
He was very nice about it.
you remember?
Yes. Let's go do some reconnaissance.
Oh, that's right, because
There was a rando car that came down, and,
and
it's
we're
like, okay.
middle of nowhere.
And I'm caught as soon as I saw it. I'm like, okay, corner of my eye. We have no idea what they did.
They're
It
up
seemed
to
like
no
they just
good.
went and parked and stopped. And
So again, pitch black, and I carry all the time on those trips. I think most of us do,
We all
but they
carry.
didn't have them on there. But I still had mine on my hip. So Andy makes his, let's go look. And
like it's
now-
a gun, right?
Like we,
I
we
blame
need-
my old first dude. The rule of primacy, man. My first sergeant, when I first came in basic training, he's like, "All right, man, let's do this." Freaking every time, and he
he
had
was a
that
stone
real
cold killer.
dude. The guy was like 5'2",
50 kills
and he
on his
had. He came. He's like, "Hey, man, if you had a knife, how would you kill somebody?" And he had that real thick accent. He's like, "Would you go across or would you go back behind and like cut all the guts out?" Like, I don't know, first sergeant.
That
You
one.
go back behind it and get all that crap out. He didn't use the word crap. Like, dude, I'm in the Army 3 days, and this guy's talking to me like this. Holy crap, what I signed up for.
We're gutting fish.
Anyway, he's the source of the...
I got you. Yeah.
The thing I loved about this the most was the view we're seeing is incredible. But this is
That's not even our campsite though.
no, this is going up on the backside of Spruce Knob, to where I forget, is it they're homesteaded? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
all of
there's
these, because this isn't a
farms and
national
stuff.
forest, and these old farmhouses and old buildings.
So after the first night, Andy and I decided the first night we got it all set up, and I was like, let's test out our sleeping bags. So me and Andy were the only men on that trip that stayed out in the tent.
Yeah, I'm not a man.
The first night. Josh was going, he said, I'll think about it. But then when he saw the camper and felt the heat, I'm going to sleep in here.
Hey, it's smart.
We did it the next night, dude. It was like negative 20 up there on that mountain.
Well, we should have done it the next night, but we kind of chickened out.
We should have, but
We should have stayed.
Okay, you can hold hands later. Hit play.
So this is the next day. We woke up after the first day, and we said, let's go for a drive to Spruce Knob. So we go around the back roads to Spruce Knob, and we're passing a bunch of old farms, like Josh was saying.
yeah, these are old
and
forest road,
sites.
county roads.
Okay. Keep going, because there's a story after this when we leave that just kills me. We are planning on, hey, we're going to keep going while Jared and Nick go back to the truck. Well, I'll just keep going. And as you can see, that gets pretty deep there, and it gets ankle deep.
So that's called the Sinks of Gandy, if anybody wants to know.
Yeah.
Which is for sale.
What?
It's
Yeah.
for sale.
Let's buy it.
So
18 man.
Can you still go through that?
yeah, oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure that I went through that when I was in junior high.
yeah. So it's-
The
We didn't hear, but
the water's too high and cold.
I guess you can go so far in, and you have to go under a rock to continue. But
Underwater.
underwater, yeah. And
there's
a
two
ledge.
routes. You can go up above too. There's a guy who went through it on YouTube. Took about 45 minutes.
We need to do that.
Pause.
Andy or Nick over there looking like Sub-Zero.
So that's a picture of the
over
cool
here.
Oh,
sign.
so before I forgot,
Oh crap!
before I forget, and that's today's episode. We are planning how to go across the creek, not get wet, and continue on the trail while Nick and Jared go back. And the next thing you hear was splash, splash. Andy with leather shoes falls in the creek, blames us for not going, and it's like, hey, we just said we want to go, and we're planning the way, and he just went.
Spearheads it and gets drenched.
Had I had normal boots on, it would have
And
been
it's
fine.
literally like negative 20.
It was cold.
I was worried, but then I knew the truck was right there, and I was
The wind was blowing.
Hey, okay.
Negative 20. She was chilly.
not a warm day.
Yeah, I don't even know what the wind chill factor was, but like legit, the truck said negative 20. So with the wind, I don't know what it was. Wind
Not
chill
warm.
factor, not warm.
Yeah.
I did go pee while I was out there. That was a bad
Well,
idea.
I almost put that video on there, but I was like, nah, it's
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well,
Probably
you
better
took
not.
a video of me peeing?
Oh,
Well, you peed every 10 seconds. We're taking pictures of that.
I'm
of the
surprised you
landscape.
I stay hydrated out in the woods, man.
So this snow in the trees, you think that's fluffy? Frozen solid.
Even the way the water melted around the.
Ooh, so this is what Spruce Knob looks like. This is the highest point in West Virginia, 4,300 feet and some change maybe, and you get a pretty good 360 from the top of it, especially out on the edge of the spur like this. And it was crispy. Oh, this is the video.
And
was
there was
pretty
more
crispy.
snow coming in.
Right.
It's like, oh, look how pretty this is. Oh, there's Andy. Hi,
And
what's going
bye,
on?
Andy.
I'm glad. I'm glad Andy doesn't ruin things, but he makes it better.
He doesn't.
It was
Ruined
cold up
everything.
there, man.
Oh, it was. You couldn't talk. The wind was kicking.
So cold.
Frozen solid trees. I mean, it was.
And people.
Never seen anything like it.
People.
I was a poster
Look at that
boy for
view.
that hilltop.
Clear back there. That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So this is one of those silent moments.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember there's that one little nook we found
Yep.
under the pines. I was like, man, this is
Here's
cool.
the crazy part: the wind was kicking, but when you were in that tree
Nothing.
grove, man,
cover.
it
Not
was
a
just incredible.
We'll edit that to make it look like that fail. That's a long.
Oh, this
this
is
is
the
first
first
trip.
trip.
Mm-hmm. A Seneca Rock right there. Our overnight stay where we had some really good elk steak,
Elk steak.
West Virginia is beautiful. Please come visit.
but don't stay.
But don't stay.
Because we're not going to let you vote. We will suppress.
This is the
We're a
lumberjack
red
trail.
state.
A lot of water on that trail. Crossovers, I should say.
Oh yeah.
Was
it
this
was
your?
fun.
This was your first
This
trip.
is my first trip ever.
So this is where you fall in love.
This is where I fall in love.
Oh.
And again, that just seems like a bunch of green, but those pictures we're thinking they're going to be awesome on camera.
They don't do it justice.
But it was just, man, it was just really, really beautiful.
This picture is a great way. Well, yeah, you can look at it here too. Look at the background here. You're just in the middle of this terrain, crunching through it. This is a pretty steep hillside. It's only about 3/4 of a mile, but you're cutting across so much terrain at this point, and the sky is wide open. It's probably one of the only fields in that area, and it's a spruce knob wilderness area, I think.
Seneca Back Creek.
There we go. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of open space, and here you can see that we traversed everything just
at an angle all the way down to the tree line.
So as you look at the draw that's in front of us, right in the bottom, tomorrow when we hike out of this, we're hiking right up the bottom of that hillside. So it's insane.
And if you remember the hike out, we had to go directly vertical on the way out.
We blazed.
Oh, because somebody decided to follow that old fence line. Yeah,
Jared,
because he didn't want to cross a creek.
We won't mention names. It was Jared.
Well, he's not here to defend himself, so even if it wasn't him, it's him.
Jared, I got your back. It was Jared.
Play.
Yes.
Jared doesn't love water. In our first campsite, you'll see the fire burning. We're right beside a big creek.
So this used to be some type of civilization at some point supporting the logging company. There's a concrete pad with a water tube coming out of it, but it's been converted into a high-impact camping area. It's
so
awesome.
Right here's our campsite. Waterfall right here, leading into the creek.
It's raining. Creek.
Yeah, it rained for about 30 minutes.
You saw me in my
One of my favorite things in the world to do is just to sit around a fire.
Yes.
Even at 90 degrees, I can still sit by a fire.
Yep.
I just sit further back.
Oh, the pine grove, man. That's one of the cooler parts of this trail. They cut out some pine, or there's an old logging road, old Jeep road, old forest road, and somehow it ended up with pine trees on either side of it whenever they continue to maintain the trail. It's awesome. And there's one spot where you can see where beavers really did some damage.
To the wood.
Why did you look at me? I was good.
This is the same spot with all the snow without snow.
Yeah.
Spruce knob.
That's the exact same.
Ooh.
Why did you look at me? I was doing good.
I held it in.
Oh, boy.
What's this one going back?
Real
Did you
man
guys
manly
not
talk.
Climb Seneca Rocks? You guys didn't go to the top?
Did you?
I've done it before. Not on this
not
trip.
that
I
day.
haven't. No.
Now, that picture was just the first camp night. So it was a Thursday night. We just stayed there, so we were directly in the woods the next morning. So we weren't even. That was just how far away is that from Seneca?
Not that far.
Maybe
That one
30
spot.
minutes or so.
Yeah. So it looked like it was closer than it was, but about 30 minutes. away.
Basically, right at the bottom of the forest road, but it's a typical campsite where you pull in car camping.
Before Nicole and I moved back up here, I think 3 years ago, we took a vacation and took a week, just me and her, and went and got a cabin in Canaan Valley and went to
Oh yeah,
Dolly Sods and
Canadians
stuff.
amazing,
And
man.
so, yeah, I now for a big fat guy like myself, that's quite a hike up there to the top of Seneca Rock. Coming down, not that big a deal, but it's pretty cool once you get up there. They have a platform you can walk out, and I mean it's just straight down, but you can also walk out on top of the rocks.
Did you go across the rocks?
Yeah, we went up a little bit, and we had taken like a sandwich or something and sat there and ate. It's pretty scary because I mean there's no
All right.
guarding edge or nothing. I mean, you can sit right there on the edge of the rocks.
There's
the rock
there's
was
a little
scary, not your
bowl
sandwich.
up top that you can sit in and feel fairly safe. But there's some idiots that went clear out to the tip of the face of the chief.
I didn't do anything.
It's like a knife.
I like how you guys giggle. Look at me like
all right.
I'm the bad guy.
You are the bad guy in most of this.
Josh is going to take a joke too far. You started it.
I didn't do a thing.
That is trips like that, and the yes, nature's fun. Seeing God's handiwork, amazing.
Amazing.
The bonds you get,
Amazing.
the relationships that develop, and just surviving it. That's what makes it worthwhile. Even the struggle. It's fun to struggle with people. If you're going to, like, even the video or was it the second trip that was just pouring down the rain, or was that the first one?
No, that was the second one. Your first trip was where the video began with the shadows
Yeah.
on top of.
Even in that moment, I know, like, man, this sucks, but this is incredible to experience this and share these moments.
There's something
some
about
fellow dudes.
shared hardship that joins people together, and then as men we work well together side by side. So when we are moving the same direction, tied in unity together, there's just something that draws us closer to one another. There's also the element of being out in nature, and Christ set the example for us. How many times in Scripture do we see that Christ pulled away so that he could draw closer to the Father in the wilderness?
Yeah.
And there's substance to that. As men, we need something like that. Every dude needs this stuff, and it's not just manly stuff, but I mean, it's a way for us to reconnect.
Yeah,
with
I was
your
going
own
to say
group.
that. I was going to say that, like, men have that innate desire to be challenged, and so even though, you know, Jared and Andy didn't really love the idea of continuing on with the rain, the forecast, none of us really did. We knew it was going to be awful, but we're already there. Just keep pressing
Let's do
on.
it.
What's the worst that can happen? We had food, we had shelter, we had each other, and we're in the wilderness, but unless you're really dumb, you're not going to get lost.
I mean, worst case scenario, you walk out into the cars right there, and
Right.
you've got access to
Right.
emergency stuff.
So, but you press on and you figure out what you're made of, really. And that trip, we found okay, we can deal with this. And then the cold trip, again, we didn't really hike too much in the cold, but that would be our next challenge. I would love to do.
That was one of those, and don't take anything for granted. We had a short walk out on that, but it was a steep walk out, and I'm like, well, I don't, we're gonna 2 hours, we're done, and I decide not to drink a lot of water and to not eat breakfast. I'm like, I'll just eat when we get in the car. I about died. I mean, he outgot me. I don't say that as a slight, because you wasn't sick at that time. It was just your back stuff, and I couldn't keep up. I was cramping. I was dehydrated. I was having migraines. I'm like, just leave me.
Because that was the point.
And we were like,
because you had to keep setting, and I finally said, guys, I can't stop one more time.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just took.
And
I'll see you at the car.
Jared kept coming back, and he would give me little
granola
bars and water, and that's like, once that got in my system, I'm like, okay, I'm good now. But that was a rough going.
And we had a long conversation about dropping you from the group after that trip.
I wish somebody would have. I'm like, why did I join this? This is nonsense. But
I'm going to tie this into you as an outsider looking in. I'm sure you can see the bond that was made. That if we were just like, oh, let's go grab coffee somewhere, compared to like, I've literally stood on his back and messed with trees and stuff like that type of camaraderie. As an outsider looking into our little group, as you're integrating yourself into it.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, let's not.
Jeez.
You just see.
This comes from the guy. I already have friends.
You see what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. Do you understand what he's saying?
I do understand.
It's like he's stupid. Leave the questions to me. So what do you think? It's really important. Find a group.
Ryan's like,
You didn't even get a chance to answer.
Oh, he did. He said he understood.
Hey, I'm all down whenever you guys take a trip down there and go tubing, or lazy river style.
he's like, I don't want to be your friend anymore now that I've seen these
Plan us
pictures.
a 20-mile hike.
I'll do it.
I need an off-road hover round for that one.
Didn't you apply for it?
Not yet. But my doctor said he would give me one.
Why don't we do the High Falls trip again, and he can just get dropped off by the train?
Yeah.
But
I told him the same thing. Ride the train down to the campsite.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But if we get a cool backpack with some like steps or some kind
Listen,
of platform, you can ride on Eric.
I carried a 70-pound dog. I don't want to carry a whatever-you-pound Nick.
205.
We could split the gear and find a baby
Like a
hiking carriage.
papoose thing.
He'll ride on mine. We'll take
can
turns.
carry him.
We'll
Just
take
get
turns.
a lot of duct tape. Tape him to your back.
Oh my gosh! Just got a visual of him facing the other way, legs hanging.
Random Twitch.
Hey, guys, can you put some maize on me?
Amazing.
All right, we're gonna wrap us up, Nick.
Yep. How do I wrap up from maize?
That's it. Hit the button.
If you'd like to learn more about us, make sure you visit our website at mkdudtalk.com. If you have questions and things of that nature, you can shoot us an email at mkdudtalk@gmail.com.
Okay.
Also, make sure you leave comments right below the video here. We love seeing those.
I just got another visual. Remember Ace Ventura when the fighter boy comes up on the big guy's back and he hops out?
He would fall straight to the ground.
Finish your close.
Make sure you check out next week's episode. We go back to a little bit more serious conversations. We're going to talk about TV preachers and that type of doctrine. So catch next week. Jared has not been with us the past 2 episodes. Said a little prayer for our little guy. He's
brutal.
Our little guy.
He's our little guy.
Oh, jeez.
Poor little
Battling some
Jared.
stuff.
Battling some stones in the old kidneys.
Way to put it out there.
I was trying to
Pulling
keep it
for you, bro.
discreet.
Yeah. Sense of win.
Yeah. And
Josh-
finish your closing.
Josh is like, please end this turmoil.
Kill it.
I forgot to do it, but I'm going to do it this time for Josh 2.0.
Nice. Will you get my sandwich, please?
I'm never coming back.
Okay, Andy, the coach Ryan, our host Josh. Of course, never mind. I wasn't going to say it. I almost said crippled Nick. But that's
not living in victory.
That's such a bad word.
Yeah.
Fully able, Nick.
There you go. I like it.
This has been Mountaineer Kingdom Dude Talk. Real men talk.
I can't take you people.
Come on, ready? Andy. mkdudtalk.com.
Okay.
Mountaineer Kingdom Dude Talk. Real men daily talk.com.